Morning folks, we're doing a homestead film today. We've not done one for a month I think. Anyway, we're starting off on a little bit of a negative. Look at this lot, carnage. So at the moment we've no water supply to the house, which is a disaster. It's not good. We were hoping it was going to be a simple fix, but it's not. Anyway, for those of you that don't know, we're on a borehole, so we're out in the sticks. Now, you've two choices really. You're either, well, you've a few choices. You're either on mains water, you're on a well, or you're on a borehole. There's no mains water around here, so we're on a borehole, which is apparently better than a well, because wells can dry up. And it's 50 metres down that hole there. That's where we get our water from. And this is what you need to drag it out, which is a big submersible pump, and that's knackered. It's yeah, unfortunately that's goosed, and it's not a cheap fix, but it's what it is. So hopefully they're coming out, well, they came out yesterday to assess it. Hopefully it's going to be replaced today or definitely tomorrow, because it's just really hard without any water. We're having to survive on bottled water at the moment. So that's that. That's a bad start. So a good thing, the apples are ready. So we've already been juicing the apples. We've got ourselves an apple press and a fruit mill. So we're going to do a bit of that later on. We'll set that up. We've picked most of the ones on the these are cooking apples, so these have been dry stored. These are in the polytunnel at the moment. We've put them in crates. They're not the best eating apples, so we're going to juice all these. We're going to make some cider as well. So with a ton of these to go out, it's quite a big job really. So we'll just do these in stages. All this stuff that's dropped on the floor, if it's in reasonable nick, again we'll just juice it all. So and make some cider. Right, while we're here, we've got a lot of wood cutting to do, and I've got some tools to show you. But while we're here, we'll have a walk up to the hide, because we've made a couple of modifications, and we've also marked out for the pond. So this is where the pond is going to go. We've mowed this path up, trying to keep it clear, and it'll take a bit of getting your head around this, but so I've marked it out. This is roughly the size it's going to be. It's about 5 metres by 8 metres, but this is the issue at the moment. These are the levels that we're working with. So this string line that you can see all the way around is perfectly level. So from here to over here, like I said, it's perfectly level. So this is something that we're going to have to deal with. I don't really want to build it up to this height. It's going to be too much, and I think there's going to be too much weight of water and pressure. We're going to have to put a lot of backfill in. So my idea is, it's not going to be done this year. We just haven't time with too much other stuff on. So the idea is we're going to dig down half that depth into that banking, and then we're going to feather it back up, and whatever we dig out is going to go behind. But we're going to have to get some grab bags full of stone, like 1 ton grab bags, and build up a more or less like an artificial banking, if you will. And then we're going to backfill it with whatever we dig out. We might have to get some more stuff, and yeah, I haven't done one before, and it's going to be quite a big job. But this is the issue. We're just dealing with this slope, but we will do it. But that's a job for another day. Let's go up the hide, and I'll show you what mods we've done to that. Right, before we get up to the hide, I forgot to mention these. So the sloes, and they're ready for picking. Now, normally you only pick sloes really after the golden rule is pick them after the first frost. But I mean, what are we on now? Nearly end of September, but they're ready. They're just, you know, I don't want to leave them on the tree and then waste them. So we've already picked some. I think we've picked a couple of pound, that's it, and we've got some sloe gin on the go. But I think they're all right for now, but in the next few weeks we're going to just gradually keep picking them, just pick them a pound at a time and get some more sloe gin on the go. But the trees are absolutely laden with them, so it's as opposed to last year where we didn't have any at all. So we've got a bumper harvest. We're obviously not going to be able to pick them all because there's just so many. All up this hedgerow up to the hide is just blackthorn and full of sloes. So again, we'll probably pick some. If we don't use it this year, we can put them in the freezer and we can use them whenever we want. So we'll have a look now at a little modification that I've done on the hide. The hide was working absolutely fine, but when I first put it in, there's a few different types of screens you can put in. You know, you can put like a see-through one-way mesh, but your view is still kind of restricted. So it was always in the back of my mind whether to put some kind of one-way glass system in. So we're trying that out now. What we've done is put some perspex on, and we've applied a one-way film. So from the outside you can just see a reflection in the glass, and from the inside you can obviously see out. So we're trying that out now. What we've done, we've cut a hole in each piece of perspex, and we've got it's actually a Tragopan 3D lens hood. So you just bob that around your lens and it's working fine. We've got the pool obviously up now. I'm sure you'll have seen the video if you follow the channel. And this has been working really well. I'm really suited with it. It's a cracking addition. And again, our opening there for the hide, we've just put a piece of perspex. I had to enlarge it and put a cover over the top because when the rain comes in this way, it was hitting the lens. So we've put that on top, and that shields the camera now. But we've had some great visits off the birds. Even had a grey wagtail down, which was a real bonus. So yeah, that's good. So really, I don't think there's anything else that's changed up here. It's pretty much as normal. One thing I have done actually, I've moved the buzzard table further down, because it was a little bit far up there, and the size of the openings on the hide, if you had a big 600mm, it was a little bit restrictive. So we've moved that back down. I think it's in a better spot now. And we've already had the buzzards down on it, which is great. So I was mentioning all the blackthorn, and as welcome as the blackthorn is, because it gives a fantastic bit of cover for the birds, and obviously it supplies us with them sloes. One thing, they put out these little shooters, and you can see them here, they're all over the place. So if we left it, I mean, they're even in the meadow, so they're creeping underneath the path here, and they're going into the meadow. And if we just left it, the place would be a jungle. It'd just be an absolute thick jungle of blackthorn, and it takes over pretty quick. So I was chatting with our neighbours about it, and they very kindly, they lent me this. Big shout out to Vlad and Claire, thank you. So this, I don't know if you can get them over here. Well, you must be able to, because they got one, but I think they're actually made in Canada, and it's called the Bigfoot Extractigator. Now, I must admit, when I first saw these coming up, I thought they'd just like self-seeded and planted, but like I said, they travel underground, and you need to get them out before they get too big, and they can be quite hard work to dig out. But this thing, what it does, I'll show you how it works. You actually put the small tree or whatever you want to pull out through them jaws, and then this is obviously on the ground, and as you close that handle down, it clamps onto it, and then you just pull it out and it rips it out at ground, roots and everything. So they're amazingly efficient. I'll show you on this one, so you can see there, I mean, that's already 5 foot, and you literally just There, make sure it clamp round and then get to a point where you can feel it pulling, and then literally there. You've got to watch these because they're horrible. They've got really nasty spikes, and there you can see it's pulled it out, rooting everything. How easy was that? So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to work my way down and start pulling all these out and stop the blackthorn invasion. So while we're up here, it's a good time to introduce this week's sponsors, who are Supstable. So I'll put the name on the screen now. Now, they got in touch with me and said, would I be interested in a cordless chainsaw, a mini chainsaw and a pruner. Now, I had a look at it, and the one thing that sold it to me was the fact that it came with this, which is an extendable mast. Now, again, for those of you that follow the channel, you'll know we have an abundance of trees, and when you're looking after this kind of area and the amount of trees that you've got, you need to keep them trimmed back. Even that behind you, if you just have a look at that, that has grown ridiculously, that field maple there, and at the moment that is blocking my view from the house. So where I have the studio up in the house, I can look out the Velux window and I can keep an eye on the hide. So something like this is going to be invaluable. So what we will do after, we'll set it up. We've got the two-way radio, so we'll get Dawn up in the house. I'll be down there with the cutters, and she's going to tell me what I need to trim off so that I can see the hide. But we'll go through the tools quickly. So it this comes as a kit. You can buy these separately if you want to. So we've got our little mini chainsaw, little 6-inch chainsaw. Just a point, they're not a toy, these. It might be a mini chainsaw and it looks like a toy, but that will ruin your day. That'll take a finger off in a heartbeat. So just be mindful of that. So we've got our little mini chainsaw. Obviously, they're all battery powered. So it comes with two 21 volt lithium-ion batteries, of 4,000 milliamp batteries, so they're big, high capacity. If you have a look on there, we've got an indicator that tells us how much juice we've got left in it. So really good batteries. You obviously get the charger with it. You get a number of tools for tool adjustment, pair of gloves. You get a little oil bottle for oiling this. So it isn't an automatic oil feeder on this one. So all it's a case of doing is unscrewing that top. When you put your chainsaw oil in, you've got a little sight tube on the side, and then what it recommends that you do with the chainsaw is every 6 or 7 cuts, just give it a couple of presses and it keeps that blade lubricated. There's a handle on the side of this one that screws on and off. I like to keep that on just so you can apply a little bit of pressure onto the blade, but it cuts really, really well. And the one really good thing that I was really surprised about is it doesn't get clogged up. Now, I have another one of these. I've got a Milwaukee one, and I'll be honest, this one cuts better. It's got a slightly narrower blade and it doesn't get clogged up, whereas the other one tends to get clogged up. When you're cutting with this, we'll demonstrate it in a bit, all the chips just fall out the bottom. Little guard at the top, and it comes with a cover for when it's not in use. So nice and lightweight. I'll put all the specs on the screen, and all the specs will be in the comments on the actual video. So as part of the kit, we also come with a set of cordless secateurs or shears, whatever you want to call them. So battery on, we press that. Now this adjusts, there's various settings. You can open that wider. I think it's set at 30 mil. So double press on that engages it, so you can see there. So that's just on one at the moment, so that's a 15mm cut. Press it again, it opens up slightly, and there. So I think it's 30, 20 and 15, something like that. I'll put it on the screen. But these, I mean, I looked at it and I thought, are they a bit I don't know, they're a bit gimmicky. But I remember at our old house we had a brown bin that was for green garden waste, and when we were trimming edges and apple trees and what have you, we'd spend literally all day cutting with secateurs, cutting the branches into pieces, and you know, it does get you after a bit, that fatigue in your hand. So this, it's literally a press of the trigger and you've got whatever, I mean, if it'll fit in there, it'll cut through. So that's the shears. We'll go through a demo after, we'll get them used. But the big thing for me, if it had just been the chainsaw and the pruners, I probably wouldn't have done the collaboration. But this is the thing that really interested me, because a lot of the stuff around here, it's up at height obviously, and the ability to be able to cut stuff off and trim it from the ground without using a ladder, because it's dangerous when you're going up ladders, you're setting scaffolding up and that, with especially with chainsaws and cutting stuff. So this is an extendable mast. Now what we can do, we can just, one of the batteries off, that goes onto the bottom, and then whichever tool we decide to use. So I think we'll have a go with the secateurs. That just clicks on. Now this extends up to 15 feet, so we have these little fastening buckles, and then we've just got to be mindful, nice and slowly, because there's a cord inside obviously. Clamp that. If you want it that tall, you can use it at that length, but we'll put it on full extension and then open it up. There we go. So that's what we end up with, a really usable tool. Now if we want to, we can alter the angle of that, press that button in and it locks for awkward situations. There's also a button on the top there, we can press that in and then we can turn the tool to 90 degrees. There we go, and that just locks back in. There. So to operate it, turn the battery on. We've got the battery on there, we're showing 4 lights, and then it's simply a double press, and there we go. So we'll do a quick demo, because this tree over here, we need to prune it anyway. So that big branch at the top, we're going to take that off. So we've got the pruner set at the maximum depth, so that's set at 30 millimeters at the moment. And ordinarily, if I was going to cut that, I'd have a ladder set up. We're on a slope, it's a bit of a nightmare. But with this, we can literally just, and again, you know, how simple is that? And you're on the ground, you're safe. It's brilliant. Look at that. The wind's making it a little bit more difficult, but there we go. Simple as you like. What we'll do now, we'll put the chainsaw on the extendable mast and I'll show you how effective that is. Right, so battery off. We've already put a battery on the bottom of the mast. That's the chainsaw clicked in place. We'll take the cover off. And then what we'll do before we do any cutting, just give it a few presses of that, and we'll go and cut some boughs down. Follow me. Look at all these apples. It's absolutely laden with them. So we've a bit of an issue with the orchard at the moment. We've noticed that these trees over here, they're a little bit, not slow, yeah, kind of slower growing. They're a little bit behind the ones that are in a more open area. So this big hedge, well, I assume it was a hedge at some point, it's all hazel. I think we're going to have the task of trying to lay it this year to try and let some light into the orchard. And so we'll trim a few branches off now, and I'll just show you how effective this is. So just looking up there, you know, it's right on the limit, to be honest, of what we've got at the moment. And I just want to show you really how effective it is. So again, like I said, if I was cutting this back, I'd have to set a scaffold up or a ladder, and it's a bit sketchy, you know, my previous experience with ladders. So we've got it to full extension, and you don't really have to press on, because you've got the weight of the mast and you've got the weight of the chainsaw on the end. That is putting pressure onto the bow. So all I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm right at the limit there, you know, I'm a fair height up, and there we go. It's that simple, and it cuts so well, because I think with it being a narrow chain, that one, whew. One thing it does come with, a pair of safety glasses, because the sawdust gets in your eyes, so make sure you put them on. Yeah, when you're doing stuff like this, obviously don't take too much off. You don't want that coming down and clobbering you on the head, so just do little sections at once. But you've seen how quick that went through, and that's just over maybe 30 mil, went through it like butter. So this is going to be so useful, because from the house we have our internet, and the telephone wire runs right through the woods, and even after a year, after being here a year, we noticed the trees were growing over it. So we need to be able to keep trimming that back and keep them lines clear. So this is fantastic. I am well impressed with it, and I did a bit of a test against it. I don't usually like comparing two brands to each other, but the Milwaukee, I bought it out of my own money anyway, so I'm not really fussed about that. But I'll be honest, this cuts better. It does, it cuts quicker because of the narrowness of the blade. It doesn't clog up, and the battery lasts just as long. I mean, I've cut through, we'll take it up with us after, because we're going to do some chainsaw work after anyway. But I'll take this up and I'll show you just how thick an actual log that it will go through. But yeah, so this is the Supstable 3-in-1 chainsaw and secateurs trimming kit. Highly recommended.
Hold on a sec.
So cracking timing. You've just been seeing the fact that we've no water. Well, the guys from Dragon Drilling have just turned up, and as you can see, it's going in. Brand new pump, new pipe, new feed, new everything. So 50 metres down we're going. So that could not have been better timing. We have been really stuck for the last couple of days. Nightmare on bottled water, but these boys are sorting it out. Right, so these are the ash trees that we took out, oh, I don't know, a couple of months ago now, maybe longer. And I were hoping that all this vegetation might just have died back a bit, but it hasn't done. So we're gonna have to, I'm gonna have to crack on and get it cut, because it needs to be split and start drying. I mean, ash is good. You can burn it pretty much straight away anyway, but I do like to try and season it. Yeah, so we've done a bit. I'm going to try and keep some of these nice pieces. They'll good for spoon carving them. So I'm going to cut some that are a bit longer. But we've a raft to take out anyway. We've no shortage of wood, that's for sure. So let's get cracking with this. Quite tricky this really, the camera. We'll show you what we're, because the trees have been dropped, this is where they're led at the moment. It's quite tricky to cut them when they're led on the ground, but we'll get there. You can see we've got some big chunks to get chopped up. So I'll tell you what we will do. We'll go and get that little chainsaw, that little cordless, that little battery one. I'll just show you how effective it is. So we've got something like that. So what's that? No, 4 inch diameter. We'll just get it somewhere where we can cut it. I'll just show you how effective this is. So like I said, be mindful. It is a proper chainsaw, as small as it is, but you see there how good the chips are coming out. It don't get blocked up. Nice cut, can't fault it really. And it's a big capacity battery as well, 21 volt, 4000 milliamp hour. So it lasts a good while. Great for doing small stuff like that. Just dead handy. I've not got to start the big chainsaw up and, you know, chucking a 16-inch bore around. So welcome to the outdoor kitchen. So I've been guilty of not doing any filming, and I've just kind of cracked on with it, and this is where we're up to. So if you have a look inside, we've got all the main structure up, the roof's on. I've just got to get some corrugated steel sheets for the roof, but it's watertight at the moment. And I've started putting the cladding on the outside, the larch cladding, larch boards, live edge boards. And the back, I've done this with pallet wood. So I managed to get a load of pallets from a building site down the road. De-nailed them all, which is a proper pain in the backside anyway, and then ran them through the saw, through the circular saw, and then ran them through the planer thicknesser. And they make it takes a bit of time, but it's, you know, it's free in it, so it's not cost me anything, only time. And the way we're going to do it, so we've got an opening here, opening there, this is opening, so you know, it'll just be a nice place to come and sit when we're using the shepherd's hut, and we can cook in here, so we're not making a mess in the shepherd's hut. You'll be able to sit out here, you've got that lovely view, and yeah, so we're gonna make some canvas blinds, so when it's winter, you know, if it's belting down with rain or whatever, we can just put the blinds down. It'll be nice and cosy-ish in here. So what I'm doing now, I'm putting the corners on. I've got some corner pieces, and then we're going to carry on putting the rest of the live edge boards on while the weather's dry. Let's crack on. Right, that's it for the update, our homestead update. I'm just going to have a walk up to the top actually, because I need to check for post, but I'll just show you, I'll show you where we got up to when we were working on the kitchen the other day. I've this set up at the moment. I've just put these logs down here because we've had the badges. That's where the badges come through under the. We've got a couple of cameras on there at the moment. I'm hoping to set my camtraptions up there and get some decent photos of them. They're coming through every night, so look at the weather, horrible. So this week, well, I mentioned it on last one, on my walking stick one, I was meant to be out doing the kingfishers, but we had a mishap with the camera. We had a bit of a fall, so we've got it sorted now, but I'll explain about that on the next film. So we'll just nip up, have a look at what we've been up to, and then we'll sign off. Right, we're up here. There we go. That's where we're up to. So we've cracked on with it really. I've got all that side on. That's all done, blending in nicely. And I made a start on this side. You can see there. We're going to have them two openings. So I haven't got a great lot to do, to be honest. But I definitely need to get them sheets on, because this weather's getting worse. It's going to be a bad week apparently, and I don't want this OSB getting wet. There is a waterproof membrane on, but it needs the proper sheets on. But right, that's it. I need to get down, get some dinner, and get this video edited, because it is Friday the 3rd of October. I'm hoping this film's out tonight, so I need to get cracking. So sorry it's not a photography one, but like I said, we had that mishap, but we're gonna I'm coming back in, it's getting wet through. Yeah, we've sorted that out now, so we'll be definitely out next week. So thanks very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, it helps the channel massively. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed it. See you on the next one.